Hey everybody, this is Doa, and this is another edition of Breaking the Caster Curse. It's a series where I kind of analyze my own play to see where I can improve, and I let you guys watch. Hopefully there's a little bit of educational value in these. I don't know if there really is or not, because I'm not a pro StarCraft 2 player. I am just a pro StarCraft 2 commentator. So, yeah, but that's no reason not to want to aspire to be a pro player. I've always wanted to. I mean, that was kind of my ambition when I first started playing the game, was like, yeah, I could play this at the highest level, it'd be awesome, but I just didn't have time to play enough. I mean, between having a full-time job and being married and all that, and so that's one of the reasons I got into commentating. But now that I'm kind of getting to do StarCraft 2 full-time, I'm kind of thinking to myself, hey, you know, why not? Why not try to get as good as I possibly can? I mean, I may never be good enough to be on a team, to be competitive, but as long as I'm really good, I just want to be really, really good with at least one race. I've been playing at random up until now, really, and that hasn't worked out too well. I've learned a lot, of course, which is good for a commentator, but at the same time, if you really do want to get good at the game, you do have to actually pick a race, unless you're like TLO or MVP Guinea Pig, and let's face it, not many of us are. So for the rest of us, we have to pick a race, and I have picked Terran. I was originally a Terran player. I did random for a long time. I did Zerg for a little while. I even played Protoss for about a month. But overall, I just always kind of came back to Terran. It's the most fun race for me. I enjoy it a lot, and I feel like it's the most difficult race for me too, because it requires a lot of patience. It requires a lot of sort of methodical positioning, especially against Zerg, and that's kind of really where my struggles lie right now, is against Zerg. I'm a terrible TvZer. So as you can see, this is a TvZ. My opponent is a Zerg player named Pathos, spawning over cross positions from me on Shatter Temple. I'm at about the 8:30-ish, 9 o'clock position. He's over at the 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock-ish position. As you can see, he has went hatch first. We can see from the mini-map. And I'm going to try to go mech in this game. I wanted to play like MMA for a long time, do Marine tank, tons of drops and stuff like that, but at this point in my StarCraft 2 career, my multitasking, my hand speed, my coordination, I guess, isn't good enough to pull that off. That's really, really hard to do. So I'm going to do something that I've always felt a little bit more comfortable with in TvZ. I really like doing mech play. It feels really strong. I like to get that position. I like to be slow and methodical against Zerg. So yeah, I'm gonna do mech play, and I'm kind of gonna focus on that in the future here too. Mech play isn't quite as popular as Marine tank is in a TvZ right now, and that's probably because I think in the end it may not be quite as strong, but yet we do still see a lot of TvZs that are mech at the high level. There are even players that focus exclusively on it, like Goody is a good example of that. MMA, even if we're going to talk about Slayers, MMA has a lot of examples of going mech against Zerg. So it is out there, it is completely valid, and I enjoy it, so why shouldn't I try to be as good as I can be with it? So that's going to be my goal for this game, win with using mech play. Now the build that I like to use, you've probably heard FXO Wolf call it the cArn build a lot on the GSL lately. It's where you do basically a 1-Rax expand and then put 2 factories down shortly after you do that. So that's going to be what I'm going to do. Oops, that was a barracks. No, let's do a factory. Alright, come on. Come on, factory. There we go. Alright, so there's my first factory going down. And if you just cut, you know, like a Marine or so, a Marine or two, you can get 2 factories out almost at the same time. Now, when I first learned this build while I was in Korea, this was known in the Gamhaus anyway as the Spades build. I'm not sure if it is the Spades build or not, but cArn actually told me that he learned it from VT Spades, if you guys know who that is. That's another very good Terran player from North America, and he was staying at the Gamhaus at the time when I got there. So yeah, so the build that everybody calls the cArn build on the GSL was actually a build cArn learned from Spades. A little bit of a tidbit for the a little bit of behind the scenes tidbits for you there. So 2 factories going down. The opening is Blue Flame Hellions, followed by a Marine tank, or followed by Tank Thor rather. Not a lot of Marines in this build, but as you can see, you kind of keep producing them continuously from the barracks to make sure that you're defended against things like, you know, early busts and things like that. My one big criticism that I have about myself right now is that I'm not scouting. I'm not really doing much scouting at all. I do have the Xel'Naga tower, so that's good. That's a step in the right direction, but I'm not really scouting. As you can see, I'm keeping an eye on the mini-map, I see that Zergling coming in, so I do move that SCV away, and now it is time to try to get in and do some scouting. If I can kind of maybe slip in there, it's about a timing where he's maybe been droning a little bit, so hopefully he doesn't have a lot that can stop me. But you know what? He actually does. As you can see, I do catch a glimpse of a couple spine crawlers and a couple Zerglings, so I know that he's kind of thinking Hellions already, or he's just deciding to play kind of defensively. And, you know, I'm okay with that. And I scan right as his lair starts. I'm like, yes! I know that he's teching, so I'm going to be safe for my expand. He's not going to be coming at me with anything for a little while. So now I'm feeling pretty comfortable. So comfortable even I get myself a little bit supply blocked. So how about that for comfort? Good job there. For some reason I get supply blocked with cArn more than any other race. I don't know why that is, but oh well, something to work on, right? So I've got my 2 factories down. Now after this, as I was taught it anyway, and the way I usually do it, oh, that drone blocking my command center. How dare he? He will die. And my building will land on his charge remains. A couple bunkers going down there as well for me. But yeah, as you notice, I'm putting down an armory. As I learned this build, you expand, you get 2 factories, get an armory, and then add on your 3rd factory. And then if you need to, you can go 2 factories making Thors and 1 factory making Blue Flame Hellions, or you can switch over to tanks if you see a lot of roaches. So it's kind of versatile in that regard. And the barracks you don't really need. I could even be doing some scouting with that if I wanted to, but probably good I wait and at least produce a few more Marines. Blue Flame did just finish, and even though I saw the spine crawlers and things, I think I might still push with the Hellions. I can't remember. I just played this game this morning, so my memory of it is a little bit fuzzy because I haven't watched the replay or anything yet. And I did send out a couple Marines to take back that Zelnaga tower. And, you know, now that I have that secured, I'm going to go ahead and send a Marine up at the top, maybe catch an Overlord if I'm lucky, watch for any maybe hidden 3rd bases. It's a pretty common place for Zergs to put them. So it's just kind of good to kind of move Marines around the map and look around for different things. Now, as you can see, I don't have those bunkers filled, but he doesn't know that. So if he kind of comes in and scouts, that may deter him a little bit. As you can see, again, I'm getting supply blocked. That's really a problem for me, as I talked about earlier. 3rd factory is ready to go, and as you can see from the production queue, I am getting vehicle weapons level 1, and here I see a pretty big attack coming in, and I'm like, sweet, tons of Zerglings. I've got 5 Blue Flame Hellions, 6 Blue Flame Hellions even. That's perfect. I can micro against this all day long. So I decide to go in and try to pull out the Zerglings to see if I can get, you know, just a lot of Zergling kills. So go after the Queen a little bit. And here we go. This is exactly what I wanted. He does manage to almost get a nice surround, but, you know, that many Blue Flame Hellions is just going to annihilate groups of Zerglings. So the reason I'm doing this is I know I'm not killing any gatherers or anything like that, but I just want to kill off Zerglings. If I can reduce his Zergling numbers, he either has to choose between replenishing them and not making drones, or making drones and being more vulnerable. So either way, this is good for me. I do also scan to see if there's any creep tumors on the edge. There is one that I can take out. So overall, didn't really do too bad. I've still got 6 Hellions out. They do have Blue Flame. Let's see, 36 workers to the 38 of his as well, so he's been droning at the same time. And yeah, so I decided to do a bit of a push. Not the best idea at this point in time. There we go, there's a nameplate. I thought I'd go ahead and get the nameplate up for this just so you can see what the supplies are at for each player. I do like to do this from the first person view just so you can kind of see what I'm seeing. Let me know if you like the supply counts or not. I don't know if it's terribly important. I scan to kind of take a look at things. My camera goes crazy. Taking out a few more creep tumors. That's the nice thing about the Hellions is that even if you can't run in and do damage, you can at least keep the creep tumors at bay. You see players like MMA again doing that all the time. As you know, I'm a big MMA fan. Let me talk about other things as my army gets destroyed because I don't want to talk about that. My lone Thor unfortunately doesn't make it. So yeah, that was just really bad timing. That was just kind of one of those things where it's like, well, I wonder what would happen if I attack now. I did kill a lot of Zerglings, but I wasn't expecting the roaches, so he kind of caught me with my Thor pants down there. But oh well. So now I know that he might try counterattack. He's like, nice Thor. So I guess he likes Thors. Maybe he sees that I do have the special edition Thors and they look so much cooler. So a lot of roaches attacking, and I do not have a lot to defend right now. Just one Thor, but they are slow. A couple Hellions coming down. Those don't do too well against roaches. But the Thors are coming in now. I do have 2 of them coming down the ramp. And they are, of course, special edition Thors, so they do twice as much damage as... No, I don't. They don't actually. They just do the damage like regular Thors, but they look twice as cool easily. So... yeah, my Thors are eventually able to drive away those roaches. I did lose a lot of SCVs though. Although I have been really good about producing them this game, 41 to 37, so I'm actually still ahead in the gather accounts. So good job me. I guess my main is a bit oversaturated, but after I defend that, I'm like, all right, sweet. I think I killed this whole army. I'm pretty sure there between the Zerglings and those roaches. So I am going to go ahead and work on a third base there. Feeling pretty confident as I can kind of pull SCVs and repair those Thors if he does decide to push with roaches again. So again, my scouting, I'm not really seeing a whole lot, but I'm still feeling pretty confident. As you can see from the supply count, that is an appropriate assumption because I am ahead 91 to 64 in terms of supply. Apparently Pathos does not like drones. 47 to 37. Definitely trying to be the aggressive Zerg, but it's just not really working out. And as you can see with 3 factories producing, I'm definitely not at any sort of shortage for units. My money is getting a little bit high, and when I see roaches, I decided to try something a little bit different here. Because I don't like going just tank Thor. What in the world? Just kind of shoving that Thor up the ramp, I guess. I don't like going tank Thor against roaches. I don't know. So I'm trying something a little bit different this game. Just kind of a spur of the moment thing. And I'm putting down 4 barracks. I'm going to produce a lot of Marauders from those. I'm pretty reasonably confident that he's not going to have mutas. Because usually if you're making that many roaches, you don't see mutas at least for a long time, and even if he does make them, I still do have some Thors. So I'm gonna try something a little bit different. And if you're playing a ladder game, if you're feeling confident, nothing at all wrong with trying something a little bit crazy. As you can see, he is pulling slightly ahead in supply. I do scan, I see nothing but Zerglings and a couple roaches, but I do see more roaches coming down the ramp, so I'm like, sweet, Marauders it is. He's sticking with roaches. So, another thing I'm doing during all this is I'm getting my mech upgrades as well. Let me see what I'm up to right now. 0-1 for the mech, and yeah, I think I do remember getting the upgrades in this game. Whatever. Go after the rocks. I'm going to take my third fairly soon here. A tank and a Thor are going to take those down very, very quickly. And as you can see, my Blue Flame Hellion drop is nearing the top of his base right now. But the question is, do I notice that my Blue Flame Hellion drop is nearing the top of his base right now? And unfortunately the answer is no, I don't. For some reason I'm just... Oh, there we go. I wasn't on my camera. Whoops. Alright. I was like, why am I staring at that for so long? I don't remember staring at that, but there we go. So transferring a few more SCVs down. And as you can see, my Blue Flame Hellions are just kind of sitting there at the top of his base, not doing anything. And now you can see a big red blob attacking my Hellions on the minimap. And yeah. Top 3 Blue Flame Hellion control. Oh yeah. You better believe it. But at least it does tell me that he's still making a lot of roaches. I expressed to them that I think my multitasking is amazing, which obviously it is. I don't know. I don't really get mad about things like that. It's stupid. It was like a dumb thing for me to forget about my drop. But I could either get mad about it and not have fun, or I could just joke about it. And who cares? And he even says, you would have had me there. So which makes me feel absolutely great that I know I could have gone in and killed a lot of drones. I'm like, oh, thanks, appreciate that. So anyway, supply dropping like a boss. Oh yeah. So getting supply blocked like a champion. And I do have 3 supply depots on the way, so that's nice. Now, as you can see, I can produce quite a few units between 4 barracks, 3 factories, and starport, armory, getting my upgrades going, engineering bay. I'm like, well, if I'm going with a lot of Marauders, I might as well go ahead and get some upgrades for the bio as well. And I'm producing a Reaper, which is purely accidental. I just fat-fingered that. Not fast-fingered it. Fast-fingered, I suppose, counts as well. And I scan, I'm like, Roach Hydra? Alright, well, there's something you don't really see every day. But I'm like, well, I've got Blue Flame Hellions, which are great against Hydralisks if you can catch them off guard. And I've got a bunch of Marauders and Tanks and Thors, which are good against Roaches. So I'm like, I guess I'm okay with this, but... I'm like, that's kind of weird, but, props to him for trying something different as well. Hellions, Hydralisks, you never, ever see in TvZ anymore. And I feel like they have some sort of use that people haven't figured out yet, but yeah, in general, they're just not the greatest in TvZ. So I'm like, alright, well, that looked like an army that was about to attack me. So it would be good to prepare for that. So I make sure my upgrades are going. I'm getting 2-2 right now for my mech. Getting stim, getting +1 bio weapons. And as you can see, my money's still fairly low. I'm not doing too bad as far as keeping my money low. Pathos, on the other hand, is getting a little bit high here, but he is nearly supply capped anyway. And yeah, don't ever do what I'm doing right now, building a ton of supply depots. There's no real need to do that. Just build what you need. But anyway, I send it out. I'm like, oh, his army's at the Zelnaga Tower. Am I ready? Am I ready? I'm like, alright, I gotta plan this, Alright, take the Hellions, I'm gonna hide them behind here so I can come in from behind and roast his Hydras. I'm like, alright, other than that, I think I'm in pretty good shape. Move the Thor up there. Alright, get the Medivacs in position to heal nothing. And, alright, here comes the big attack. We are ready. Do I have enough to hold it off and bring the SCVs off the line as well? Just to make sure I'm there to repair everything. Moving the Hellions in from behind to go after the Hydras. And look at those Blue Flame Hellions just annihilating the Hydralisks. That is a big reason why you don't go Hydra against mech, because I think I just killed about 20 Hydras there with about maybe 8 Blue Flame Hellions. It's a pretty good trade-off if you ask me. And I'm like, sweet, I just annihilated that army. It's time to attack 158 to 99 supply. Of course, I didn't know that at the time, but, you know, I figured I was quite a bit ahead. And, yeah, I've got 3 bases. I feel like I can still, you know, keep rallying units to my... I'm not sure if I rallied units to the fight now. Scanning to try to take out a couple creep tumors, just to kind of see where his army is as well. And here's where things get kind of shaky for me against Zerg. I kind of have a bad way of arranging things, as you'll see. So, I don't know, I'm playing that Marine Tank Micro Challenge to try to get the hang of it, but it's still kind of tough. And here's an attack from him. As you can see, he did not have a lot of army left. And right now, I'm feeling pretty confident about this. Moving in with another Roach Hydra force. If he maybe would have attacked me with everything he had, that would have been a lot closer. But between the Thors, the Marauders, the unsieged tanks that I'm now sieging, doing pretty well. Of course, Thors and Marauders against Hydras isn't the ideal combination, but, you know, it's not too bad. And so, yeah, now at this point I'm like, alright, I'm going to take out the Roach Warren so he can't make any more of those. Other than that, I'm not too worried about things. Trying to get my tanks in pretty good positioning. And at this point, as you can see, he's got 59 drones, so he did produce, you know, enough later, but there was that point in the mid-game where Pathos really didn't produce a lot of drones, and I think that's where I really started to pull ahead. Just looking back at that, I have 70 SCVs right now. Doing pretty well as far as that goes. I did remember to build SCVs that game. That's pretty good, I guess. So, as the fight is going on, no reason to stop macroing, putting down another command center, because I don't know that the game is over yet. It might not be. He might have the whole bottom of the map, and I don't know it. I can't make assumptions. So, I do plan on that 4th base right now. Still macroing. My money is getting a little bit high at this point. I suppose I'm getting a little bit lazy, which I should not be doing. I am basically maxed out, though, so it's not like I could really produce a whole lot right now. My upgrades, I suppose I could continue with. My mech is 2-2. My bio, I believe, is 2-0, I think it is right now, or 1-0, one of the two. Or 0-1, I guess, if you go by armor first. Moves in with a few more Hydras. But at this point, you know, I'm just obviously overwhelming him. And I can tell this is kind of the end of the game right now. I mean, if he would have had any sort of hidden forces, hidden economy, he would have hit me with it by now. Look at how cool those Thors look. I love my special edition Thors. That's one of the reasons I play mech, actually. It's just, I'll admit it, it's just purely because I think Thors look cool. That's it. Pathos screaming to the heavens that he hates tanks. GG. Leaves the game. I think the real problem is that Pathos hates drones in the early mid-game a little bit more than he hates tanks, because he didn't make any. So, yeah, I guess that's it. Kind of a weird combination from my opponent, and definitely some flaws there on my play, too. I could have done a lot better in terms of making supply depots. I probably could have expanded again. My switch to Marauders ended up being okay, but it was a little bit weird, so I'm still not sure how I feel about this. It worked out this game, but I don't know how good it is in the long term. But, I don't know, so just kind of an interesting little TvZ on Shattered Temple. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you kind of maybe learned a thing or two. I don't know really what you could learn from that, but hopefully you learned a thing or two. If you like the content, definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel. Otherwise, also check me out on Twitter at DoaSC, D-O-A-S-C. That's going to be all for now, guys. Thanks for watching. Keep playing StarCraft 2, and I will see you on the next cast.